Ready for the video?
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. Start off with a bang. How you feeling?
I love it.
Lots of jumping.
Yep, he's like covered like this is a gigantic stage. It's awesome. They're moving. They're great.
With it, yeah.
I love
They're
it.
enjoying it.
Bump, 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 bump. So fun. It made me happy. I love that. I'm so glad that someone else says that because I mean, I love that he's basically just like jumping up and down a bunch.
I love.
Let's get it. No.
It's okay.
Shivaratri.
Present practice. What's conscious? This is Vish and
Jen.
And today we'll be responding to Sadhguru's video on
Sadhguru dance at Maha Shivratri 2020.
My name is Vish, and I'm an aspiring yogi. Love all things meditation, yoga, and wisdom-based. And I'm super grateful to have Jen on the show with me. Introduce yourself.
My name is Jen. I'm based in Austin, Texas, and I'm a dance fitness teacher.
Thanks for being here, Jen. And have you heard of Sadhguru before?
I have.
We've watched a couple of videos together, and we actually did just see another dance video. What do you think of his dancing skills so far?
I love his dance skills.
And with that,
let's get into it.
start off with a bang. How you feeling?
I love it.
Lots of jumping.
He's like covered like this is a gigantic stage. It's awesome.
How's the music so far? Have you heard this before?
I haven't, but I love it.
Different, right?
Yeah.
You dance to this?
Oh yeah.
I love the energy about this. Jen, what are you thinking so far from seeing that, I guess, more of his dancing skills? What's popping out to you?
I mean, I love that he's basically just like jumping up and down a bunch. But I love that. That's what I found myself doing in the middle of the pandemic when we were like locked in our houses, like very isolated, working in the middle of the day, just like about to lose my mind. I would just put music on and just jump up and down. And I felt a lot better after that.
Yeah, it does wonders. In fact, some interesting insight about this night. Apparently, it's a very auspicious spiritual night, and it's a night where this is what they say, right? So I'm not going to say I've experienced it, so I don't know how true it is, but apparently on this night, if you keep your back straight the entire night, so essentially you're not sleeping, right? And you just keep it erect, there's some sort of like energy transfer that happens to you where you just get like, just ecstatic, right? Mm-hmm. And basically what you'll notice is that Sadhguru says this himself, people will just dance drunk without any liquid, right? They're literally just drunk off of dancing and that energy. What are your thoughts on that?
I love that. I'm so glad that someone else says that because I haven't drank for 3 years. I'm sober. And you get that feeling when you dance long enough. Absolutely. Again, it's like you are releasing all these happy hormones whenever you move your body, whenever you do any form of exercise. But I think it's extra special with dance because you're expressing yourself and there's music and there's community. So it's just this like amazing drunk or high. Yeah.
Absolutely. All natural. That's the key. And with that,
let's get back into it.
I wonder where Sadhguru went. I don't know. Let's see if he comes back.
They're moving. They're great.
With it, yeah.
I love it.
They're enjoying it. Wow. Is that a huge statue?
That is epic.
So another dance video of Sadhguru. What's going through your mind now, Jen?
I loved it. It was so fun. It made me happy.
Coming from that like extensive dance experience that you have, it seems like, I mean, you've gone into the pretty technical aspects of it as well as now just the fun aspects. Mm-hmm. Any pointers or any things that you connected with the way he danced or just the music, the beats? What's going through your mind with that?
I liked how fast-paced the music was. It reminds me, I love house music.
What is house music?
House music is it's like electronic music. It's like a branch of electronic music, and it's typically at 124 beats per minute. And there's always this like bump, 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 bump. And I always connect with that. It's like the heartbeat. I think anyone can connect with something that's like faster. And
yeah. And so you said 124. I mean, I don't know this stuff again, but would you say that this was faster, slower, about the same as that 124 beats per minute?
maybe a little faster, but about the same. But I don't know, it gets your heart going and you just like can't help but not move when you hear it. Like I was dancing in my chair the whole time.
Well, that's awesome. And I feel that too. What's your advice for people that, let's say, are in this environment and you see the people dancing, but you might be a little nervous and shy to dance? What's your advice?
I'd say just start moving. You can start small, just move in a way that feels good to you. Maybe just move your feet from side to side, then start moving your hips. And then the more you start to move, again, you'll start to release those happy hormones in your body and get this like drunk or this natural high. You'll start to feel more confident, and you can start like extending your arms out, jumping up and down, and it's just like contagious. It's funny, since I haven't drank for 3 years, whenever I go to parties, I always feel really nervous. I have a little bit of like social anxiety, but I found that like I'll go to the party and I'll start dancing and it'll make me feel good, it'll make me feel confident. It's kind of like having those like couple of drinks, So just start moving, do it in a way that feels good to you, and yeah.
Well, that's great advice, Jen. I appreciate you sharing that. Definitely good for me as well as those watching. Maybe that are a little afraid to dance, and I would love to hear what you do, for fun with dancing. What's your favorite style of dancing? What you thought about Sadhguru style of dancing in the comments down below. And I want to just briefly touch on that point that you mentioned, like those feel-good hormones, right? I think there's definitely like a misconception, which I used to think as well, which is that you can only feel drunk or get high through drugs or drinking. And I mean, scientifically speaking, forget the spiritual stuff or even anything else. Scientifically speaking, there's endorphins that get released. There's certain, I think, again, feel-good hormones that get released when you work out, for example, extensively. I'm sure dancing is similar too. And so now tying that into the spiritual stuff, in fact, Sadhguru actually talks about this. It's funny, actually, he talks about how he's always stoned, but he's never touched a plant before. And he actually says that he's probably like 1,000x as high as someone that is with weed. And you can achieve that naturally is his point. Not to say that drugs are bad, not to say that drinking is bad. There's no good or bad, but it's just that, it's all about realizing the natural ways of getting there and the more sustainable ways, right? Because he himself said it actually in a very simple line, which was, if there were no side effects of alcohol and you could be conscious, I would be selling you drinks myself, right? I would give it to you myself, but that's obviously not the case. What I have here to offer you, which is basically meditation, yoga, and these certain techniques, you can get high and drunk, but even more deeper, and be conscious at the same time, right? What are your thoughts on that?
It's so true. I've experienced it. And yeah, I agree. Like, alcohol is not bad. Drugs aren't bad. I don't think that at all. But you can achieve it naturally. And I think it's better, personally.
I would say, this is a bit of an opinion, but I agree too with that. Because really just the side effects, right, that are associated with these other things. And even I think there was a scientific study that was done, which, again, this is me coming from not too much of the biological scientific background, but just sharing what I've heard. And apparently, so they actually say that we have endocannabinoid receptors in our brain, right, which people at times use as a justification for consuming weed. Again, not to say weed is good or bad, but the reality is, according to Sadhguru, he says that, yes, we have those receptors, but the reason the receptors are there is because if your system, meaning your body, mind, energies, are all aligned, you should naturally be producing that high. The endocannabinoids. But now, because of how much we've messed up our systems, now we're relying on the external. And so we have the receptor for a reason, but we should be naturally, internally producing it, not externally. What do you think?
Yeah, makes sense. I've definitely felt that from meditating as well, or just doing like breath work, for example. That's a crazy high.
Yes, it's all at the natural, and I do want to just touch on the dance again. I think he really just let it out, was free, and I don't think. Let me ask you this: is there a right way to dance?
Absolutely not. No, there's no right way to dance. It's just moving in a way that feels good to you. That's all it is. Have you ever been to an ecstatic dance before? You used the word ecstatic earlier.
Yeah, ecstatic. So I use the word because he always talks about ecstasy, because I guess super small sidetrack. I think the word peace is thrown around so much that he basically says, and it's a funny line, a little serious but funny, where people talk about peace so much that they're only going to reach peace when they rest in peace. And the point he makes is that peace should be your bare minimum, not your maximum. You should try to strive for ecstasy, joy, these higher levels of states. But to answer your question, I've heard of ecstatic dance. I just haven't done it. What is that exactly?
I mean, if you're a little nervous to dance in front of people, ecstatic dance is actually a great place to start. It's an hour-long dance, and it's just people moving in whatever way that feels good to them, and it does
no judgment, right?
No judgment whatsoever, no judgment zone, and it takes a certain arc. It starts off with very meditative music, and then it moves up to a climax, and at that point people are screaming and jumping up and down and rolling on the floor and just releasing all of the stress or whatever it is that they're holding on to. And then the music brings you back down to this meditative state, and it's a great way to get out of your comfort zone, but also just be around other people that don't care at all about what they look like. And, yeah.
I love that, Jen. Thanks for sharing that as well. Something I guess I could try out, or even you all should try out. I would love to hear if you've tried ecstatic dance before in the comments down below. And if not, if you're interested, you could also just comment down below about that. And do you know what Maha SHIVRATRI is?
No, I do not.
I'll be honest, I don't know too much either, but I think it's just this really auspicious festival. And it's meant to celebrate. It's Maha means great, Ratri means night, Shiva is a god. but it's like not a religious thing per se. It's like a God that represents, I think, like a spiritual thing. So it's like a very spiritual, auspicious night. In fact, actually, without getting too much detail, I think it's the only night that they don't sleep at all, and it's just all night of dancing and singing. And so, anyways, it's a cool night. But yeah, Jen, thank you so much for being here. Just to quickly just add in, I mean, Sadhguru is like a 60-something-year-old man, does so much traveling, yet he's just jumping, right? I think it's something we all can do and maybe should do, right? Just to let it out, a different form of activity. So again, thank you so much for sharing that insight about dance and your experience. And remind the viewers, where can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at SHIVRATRI, and I teach a dance class at Antone's every Saturday morning in Austin, Texas.
All of our stuff will be down below. And also, if you've made it this far, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that like button. Would be super grateful and appreciate that. Also, if you have any other video reaction requests or personality type guests that you want to see on the show, you can also comment down below. And with that, make a great day, take it joyful, and stay conscious. Awesome job, Jen. How you doing?
Doing great.
Awesome.